In fact, I would like to begin by asking you, Islam Sahib, the very root word of Islam that you mentioned, the salama, the word Islam. I mean, because you said you use the word submission. Of course, submission is just one of the meanings of the word Islam, as you rightly pointed out. But in my opinion, I would like to clarify this from you personally, that the primary meaning of the word salama, sin lam mim in the Quran. I mean, if you go through the triliteral root, it means to become safe and secure. Salamati, the word salam is salamati, to become safe and secure. And the safety and security anywhere on this planet is totally dependent on establishing peace, because there cannot be a security for any person on this earth when there is violence, or safety for any person on this earth when there is violence. So the safety and security which the Quran uses in salama is actually the establishment of peace. So only through the establishment of peace, a person or a society can make itself secure and safe. So therefore, in my opinion, don't you think the primary meaning of the word Islam should be securing peace for the safety and security of all, rather than submission? Because I am not for submission personally, although it is one of the meaning, and if used in such a context, perhaps it could mean submission. But in this context, in the overall context of the Quran, if you look at the Quran, actually attacks the very idea of submission. It says la ikraha fid din, one, and it says lakum dinukum waliya din also in another place. And another place in Surah Yunus where it says, if Allah had so wished, He would have made the entire all the people on this earth as believers. Will you then compel mankind to become believers? So Quran is opposed to submission, because submission by nature, if you look at any dictionary meaning of the word submission, submission is always by force. It's always under force. Nobody submits willingly, because submission, there is some authority which makes you submit. And the Quran says there is no such authority. We want you to reason. That's why the verse which says, I mean, if in chapter 10, verse 99, where it says that, if Allah has so wished, He would have made all people believers. Will you then go and compel mankind? The next verse says, Yajalul rijsa alal lazina la yaqilun. I mean, so what it means is, the people who don't apply their minds, on them will be placed rijs, some kind of defilement, of some kind of a locking of their hearts. I mean, they will not understand. So the whole idea, like you pointed out, is to open up the minds of people. So therefore, don't you think a better interpretation of Islam and the Muslim would be establishment of peace for Islam, and for Muslim, a person who stands for peace, a person who wants to establish peace. So by this definition, we are going to broaden the meaning of Islam, not just to the kind who wear topi and burqa or dadi, to any person on this planet, whether he's a Hindu, Muslim, or a Christian, who actually wants peace on this planet. Anybody who wishes and wants peace has to be a Muslim in that sense. So don't you think that will broaden the very definition of Islam itself to include everybody as the Quran wants? Because Quran is a book for all. Allah is Rabbul Alameen, and Prophet was also Rahmatul Alameen. So I would like to know your views on that. Sorry, I took a little longer
Great,
than...
great. Yeah, I will have to recollect things because I have a short memory, as I said. My STM is very low. You see, first thing is that perhaps I linked up things and couldn't clarify. I linked Ibadah with Islam.
Yeah.
Islam per se, SLM, does not include submission, but it assigns the qualities. Acquiring those qualities, one attains all those characters, the 8 characters. And if you have time, I can read it from the book of SLM meaning, which I have included. Now, as you said, rightly said, that meaning of SLM, of course, the primary meaning of the 8 is salama or the salamti, as-salamu. This is one of the attributes and the name of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
Now, to ensure and how to, learn these things, you have to submit to some system. You have to submit to certain divine guidances which have been given to you, divine orders. Say, for example, قُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُوا الَّتِي أَحْسَنُ. Tell my bande, I call my submitters who submit to me, wherever they speak good. Now, this is one mechanism which ensures peace. When you always speak good, because whenever there is disturbance, mainly it is caused by what we utter, our utterances. Quran makes it binding on all of us that whenever you speak best of the speech, and there is no exception given in the Quran that under these conditions, when somebody abuses your parents or your Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or your prophet, you can abuse. No, it is absolute. The exceptions are given in Quran elsewhere for anything, including the haram food. That if you want to save your life, you can take it, provided there is no एलिमेंट ऑफ रिबेलियन, बगावत का अंसुर नहीं है अगर, तो आप वो हराम चीज भी खा सकते हैं अपनी जिंदगी बचाने के लिए. बट हियर दिस एन एब्सोल्यूट हुक्म. सो बेसिक एंड सेकंड थिंग दैट सबमिशन इज विलिंगली ऑल्सो. आप दिल से जिस चीज को पसंद करते हैं, जब आप आशिक हो जाते हैं और झुक जाते हैं मोहब्बत में, आई कॉल इट सबमिशन. आई अंडरस्टैंड इट सबमिशन. कर दिया आपने. Quran does not ask us to force submission on anybody, including our children. कि नहीं तुम्हें ये करना है क्योंकि अल्लाह का हुक्म है. उन्हें रीजन आउट करना है कि अल्लाह का हुक्म है तो क्यों है, and what are the reasons for it. Logically you have to explain things, and that is very simple and clear because Quran explains it logically. Okay, when Quran says that you reciprocate with goodness to the people who are doing bad or evil to you, it explains that if you do it, then you will find that your worst enemies are your friends. This is an explanation and one experiences in day-to-day life. It is not something which is hard to understand or believe. So I believe willingly submitting to divine orders is the first condition to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah's system of peace within and without. So certainly SLM gives us 8 meanings which makes us useful for the society. It raises in our status. It removes all our bad habits or bad manners, because one example I gave to you. Then laqad karramna bani Adam, you have to respect every human being. So there are so many instructions given in the Quran. I willingly accept it. Nobody forces it on me. You see, if I don't submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or rather I don't love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the least thing and the last thing to say, if I don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I prefer love over fear. If I fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I will never speak anything bad, because Allah asked me to do it. Now this is out of fear or out of love, but it is submission. जैसे कुरान एक जगह कहता है कि चाहते हुए ना चाहते हुए कायनात की हर चीज अल्लाह के अहकाम की इत्तिबा करती है. So if we willingly do it, lovingly and willingly, then of course it is submission to the divine guidances, which step by step make us a peace-living person, a peace-living person, as well as a peace-loving person. Yeah. When I don't have any negative trait in me, I don't hate anybody, I don't scold anybody, then once these negative traits disappear from me, I become a positive person. I am at peace with myself, the inner peace. And a person at peace with himself is always at peace with others. If we are not at peace with others, it simply shows that we are not at peace within ourselves. And the reason is clear, because we are not following divine laws. We are not in sync with nature. We are sailing against the current. That is the reason. So I believe I am clear. Or any clarification, please?
No. I think thanks, Aslam Saab, because my only problem was with the use of the choice of words. In fact, you use the word acceptance, because what I had felt was submission. There is an element of force involved in submission. whereas in acceptance and an element of willingness is there. So therefore, in my opinion, acceptance would have been a better word than submission. But of course, our perceptions and differ. I agree with you, because the
Exactly.
concept is same. What you're trying to say is basically what is only a choice of words. So,
Yes.
and the other point which I like to clarify, Aslam Saab, from your book, since the book's title itself is Scientific Muslim, or I would not have raised this issue, and this is also part of the introduction of your book. I would like to read from it so that you can get a better idea of what you've written there, so that you can clarify it for us better. You say, anyone who reads the Quran can make out that it is not just a religious work, which only explains rituals and intricacies of worship. Instead, it is a book which tells us how to lead a peaceful and meaningful life. It gives a system which synergizes us with nature and makes it binding on us to share, care, and serve humanity irrespective of faith, language, color, or region. It tells us that since the descent of Adam, the first man on earth, guidance has been sent to people from time to time in all regions and in all languages through an unknown number of messengers and prophets. But of course, I see this is one passage which I wanted you to clarify, because of course, Quran is not just a book of rituals. Quran, though it talks about manasik and the minhaj of others and Sharia and all these things, it basically it's a book where it tries to reason with humanity to accept or to recognize a creator and follow the natural laws of that creator. So it's basically a dialogue between God and his creation to understand and follow without any compulsion. But as you go, since your focuses on science, I wanted to ask you, because you clearly say in this passage that you talk about the descent of Adam, or Nuzul Adam, in that sense, if you put it in Urdu. And then you also say he's the first man on earth. But scientifically speaking, there is no evidence to say that Adam was the first man on earth. Scientifically speaking, that even from the Quranic way of understanding it, Adam is just a reference to evolved humanity, not just the first person. Otherwise, you will have to believe in the idea that Adam was created just like Adam, just like another human form, and life was blown into him, kind of. Nufikha fihi min ruhihi, the Quran says, that kind of a belief. If you take it literally, it would mean that God had created some kind of a statue like Adam in a full human form, and then he blew his spirit into it and gave life to it. That's what the hadiths tell us, the riwayat. But actually, scientifically speaking, and this book is on science, don't you think that actually violates the very idea of evolution? Because today evolution is not just a theory. It may be called a theory of evolution, but there is so much factual about it. Things it's been proved to be a fact, and there are no scientists on earth today who has denied evolution. So therefore, does this particular statement in your book militate against the very idea of evolution? And would you like to clarify on that? And what is your view on evolution itself as a Muslim? What should we believe in?
Sure. You see, as a student of science, I would like to share that science accepts and believes evolution as well as creation. Both things are scientifically accepted. This is point number one. Secondly, whenever during the course of evolution, a pro-human humanoid changed to a proper human form, you may call it Adam as a person or as the entire humanity, but there was some entity from where the humanism started. That stage of the growth of the intellect, that shape of the thumb, and many other things, they started. And it must have started from one person, not from or maybe group of person, but at the same time, So from my point of view, as I understand, it is not important it was a person or a race or people, but the stage is important. From a proto-humanoid, human or pro-humanoid, whatever you may call it, to a perfect human being, which had the right kind of intellect, the fully evolved, and all other structures physically and physiologically. So that's my concept. That is point number 2. And point number 3 is that, as I said, that I totally believe in evolution. It has happened. It has been happening. It is still in operation. And in fact, Quran describes it. In a verse when Quran describes our senses of vision and hearing, that how he created for us, he did not use the word creation, he used the word ansha lakum. Then ansha is evolution. So if and as I said, the translators never mention it this way. हमने तुम्हारे लिए कान आँख पैदा किए, इवॉल्व किए या इर्तिका किए नहीं लिखते, क्योंकि वो झंझट में फंस जाएंगे. So that's how I take it, that everything, because one thing I want to clarify, that a great mistake we have done, that we have linked evolution with Darwinism. Two things are different. The concepts and the theories are given by many people, they are rejected, they are accepted, but the processes remain. And many so-called science writers or people working on Islam and science on its interface have done this mistake of linking Darwinism with evolution. They have done a great mistake to the body of knowledge and to Muslims particularly, and annoying them from the contemporary sciences. These are two different things. Darwinism is something different, evolution is something different.
Absolutely.
I think I'm clear. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Because when you split the meaning of the word ayah, you say that it is a word of Allah and then the work of Allah. If the Quran is a word of Allah, evolution is the work of Allah.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Is it not? So, and the right word you used was in Urdu, which you said that irtiqa, because सारी कायनात इर्तिक़ाई दौर से गुजर कर ही आगे बढ़ रही है. इर्तिक़ाई दौर से गुजरे बगैर इंसान का दिमाग भी आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता है. तो if you look at the evolution of human mind itself, Aslam Sahab, 100 years ago, nobody would have ever thought of a cell phone. Nobody would have ever thought of a smartphone and a meeting like this, where we can virtually meet from any part of the world. So, but that was the same brain. It was the same brain, same person. 100 years back, evolution was not that bad. We had already evolved, but yet the human brain is evolving, and I think, and that is a proof that what God says, in Surah Rahman, in every day he in a new shan he reveals himself.
But sorry to interrupt, this is the revelation of the ayah to the people of knowledge. قَدْ فَصَّلْنَا الْآيَاتِ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ. We have made clear our science to the people of knowledge. Today, the people who have knowledge, the new ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are being, I would say, clarified to them, revealed to them. They understand them and put it into practice, and this process will continue till the last day, because Hamim Sajda 53, if you see, it shows very soon we will show our science.
Yes.
Inside them, Anfusukum, and in the universe, till they realize that this book is the truth. Now, I believe that this verse will be read just a second before the final day of judgment. It means the revelations and the understanding of the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this planet will not be completed. The earth and the system will be wound up. क़यामत आ जाएगी, ये तस्खीर कायनात के सिलसिले, ये तफहीम कायनात के सिलसिले, ये अल्लाह की आयत के समझने के सिलसिले ख़त्म नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि अल्लाह ने खुद कुरान में कहा है कि तुम्हारी रब की बातें अगर ये पूरे समंदर स्याही बन जाएं और ये दरख्त कलम बन जाए तो तुम्हारी रब की बातें पूरी नहीं होती. So that's how I understand it.
Absolutely. In fact, you use the right phrase in your book where you say that science is a tool to appreciate God.
Yes.
So we have to use science, but unfortunately what has happened is, we have evolved a system of education in the madrasas in such a way that all these things are suppressed. Free exchange of ideas, free thought, questioning, challenging existing thoughts and ideas, or even what you call knowledge, that is never encouraged. And that is the reason why I think we have never been able to use science as a tool to appreciate God. We wanted to appreciate God only through riwayat, and most of these riwayat, as you know very well, that most of them are based on mawzu ahadith, or even what you call weak ahadith, and it militate against the very idea of rational thinking which the Quran promotes. So therefore, I think
sorry interrupting, but sir, my basic submission is that we must follow the system of the Quran, how it tells us and what it tells us. क्योंकि मैं इसे इस तरह कहता हूँ आज के ज़माने में कि बहुत सारे ज़राए हैं मार्फत इलाही के, लेकिन इल्म भी मार्फत इलाही का एक जरिया है और इल्म साइंस है, कुरान खुद डिफाइन करता है. Sorry, please continue.
No, बिल्कुल, आप 100% सही, because the whole book is about that. Science is nothing but ulum. Like, but today we have ulum al-hadith, we have ulum al-Quran, but we use the word only in a theological sense. So we never try to go beyond, because Quran invites you to go beyond the Quran. There's a verse which was a very interesting couplet of a friend of mine who's no more, which always quote. In that verse he says, लफ्ज़ कागज पर कायनात नहीं, तुम समझते हो सब किताब में है. So Quran talks about kainat in that kagaz, in kitab. Or he wants you to go and explore the kainat. The idea is to appreciate God. The idea is to appreciate recognize the God, and so that you establish peace on this earth, by which you gain peace in the next world too. So I think it's a fascinating read so far from what I have read as Aslam Sahib. So now we have reached 1 hour of our discussion, and as promised to our participants, we now open it up for questioning. We have 1 hour of questioning, and please feel free to ask Aslam Sahib on the topic discussed. And I would once again make it clear that the discussion, the questions should be on the topic, nothing outside the topic. I mean, please don't bring extraneous issues or issues which are unnecessarily controversial. Please, for whatever we have discussed now, you're free to ask. Whatever Aslam Sahib has discussed,
मैं एक चीज की वजाहत यहाँ और करना चाहूँ कि जिस आयत का मैंने जिक्र किया था कि जहाँ अल्लाह ताला अपनी आयत को रिजेक्ट करने की बात करता है
जी,
तो उसका अगला हिस्सा यह है कि वो कुछ बोल ना सकेंगे और उन पे वादे अज़ाब पूरा हुआ क्योंकि वो जुल्म करते थे. यानी कौन थे वो लोग जो जुल्म करते थे? जो अल्लाह की आयत का इल्म इहाता नहीं करते थे. Who didn't comprehend the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their knowledge. The ayah written in words as well as the ayah in the form of creations.
correct.
We didn't explore them, we didn't comprehend them. हमने उनका इल्म इहाता नहीं किया और फिर कुरान कहता है तुम ये नहीं कर रहे तो क्या कर रहे थे? और उन्हें जुल्म क्यों किया? क्योंकि ये कंसेप्ट बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. यहाँ इतने बात समझ और बाशऊर लोग बैठे हैं, मैं उनसे शेयर करना चाहूंगा. क्योंकि अल्लाह ताला जिस चीज को जिस काम के लिए देता है उसको उस मकसद के अलावा किसी और जगह इस्तेमाल किया जाए तो ये जुल्म है. कौम लूत जालिम इसीलिए थी क्योंकि वो अपनी सेक्सुअल कैपेबिलिटीज को गलत जगह इस्तेमाल करते थे. तो अल्लाह की नेमत को अगर हम गलत ढंग से इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो वो भी जुल्म होता है. और यकीनन हम खुद ही करते हैं. इसके ये बात होती है कि नि जुल्म तो नफ्सी फगफिर ली आइला. हम अपने ऊपर खुद जुल्म करते हैं जब अल्लाह की नेमतों को, चाहे वो हाथ पैर की शक्ल में हो, दिमाग की शक्ल में, आंखों की शक्ल में, सही इस्तेमाल नहीं करते. और सही इस्तेमाल इस वर्ष में बहुत क्लियरली डिफाइन कर दिया गया क्योंकि पूछा गया है कि अम्मा कुंतुम तामलून, व्हाट वाज इट यू डिड, तुम क्या कर रहे थे अगर तुमने मेरी आयत का इल्मी इहाता नहीं किया. क्योंकि आयत का इल्मी इहाते के बाद ही मार्फत इलाही होती है, अल्लाह की अज़मत का एहसास होता है, फिर आदमी दिल से चीजों को कबूल करता है. मैं आपका फ्रेज इस्तेमाल करूंगा कि दिल से एक्सेप्टेंस आती है
जी.
उस एक्सेप्टेंस के नतीजे में वो लॉस को सबमिट करता है. तो मैं एमलगेमेट कर रहा हूँ दोनों टर्म्स को क्योंकि ये बिल्कुल ऐसा है कि एक आदमी कमरे के अंदर बैठा है, एक बाहर बैठा है, एक बच्चा बीच में खड़ा है क्लासरूम के. तो अंदर वाला कहेगा कम इन, दूसरा वाला कहेगा गो इन. तो ये वही चीज है कि अंदर जाओ और अंदर आओ. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify it.
No. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aslam Sahib. I think we should open it up to questions now. Anybody who has a question,
please,
can unmute himself or herself and ask the question.